Hello and welcome. So today I'm going to show you a project I'm currently working on with a friend, and she has given me the rights to show this project with you. So I'm going to show you her concept video that she has on YouTube, and I'm going to show you then what I'm doing with it. So it's going to be a children's cartoon show. So let's go and have a look.
The sun is setting behind Kangaroo Hill. It's a peaceful time of day. I watch the animals into the air. I watch in disbelief. Soon they fly into the air. I watch in disbelief. Soon they fly into the air. I watch in disbelief. On Kangaroo Hill, on Kangaroo Hill, the stars are.
So we have a rough idea of this concept video. We have a male vocal, we have a female vocal, we have a guitar, we have a flute, and there's a tambourine in this mix. So let me bring you over to my studio. Alright, so let's have a look at the project. So I'm currently adding some layers to the master track. So the master track is on the top, and you can see some of the layers I'm currently working on. So my first layer would be a bass guitar of some kind, and I spent about an hour and a half looking through the master track for the notes. Then we have the first section, second section, third section, etc. And then I merged it all into one clip. This is a raw audio without my channel racks being on. And it matches up very, very well to the master recording.
The sun is setting behind Kangaroo Hill. It's a peaceful time of day. Ducks are waddling up Kangaroo Hill, but their visit is to breathe.
Now if you listen to the master on its own,
Ducks are waddling up Kangaroo.
It's missing all that lower richness. So once the bass line, we'll say, was created, I was easily then able to change it around for other instruments. So I introduced a cello. Which gives more richness to the sound, a bit more fatness to the lower end. So I decided, let's add a simple piano. Let's see what happens. So here is the piano. Alright, and let's put the effects on for that. Now, keep in mind this is a work in progress. So the chords and stuff that's in the piano are very basic. I will add more melodies and riffs and other things to, liven it up a bit. Right now it's very block structured, which is normally how I work. And it's very, it's work in progress. So once I had that down and, it sits well, I decided then what else would work nicely. Maybe a pad. Maybe I had strings. I will be adding brass at a later stage. Because there's a flute in the master mix, so if I add some maybe brass horns or French horns or something like that to mimic more of an orchestral feel or something to maybe, or even just to complement the flute that's there, because the flute is a wind instrument. We have strings, maybe some brass would have, or maybe it will complement and improve the mix. So what I've done here is added a choir. Let me put the effects on for that too. Do you know? It's super elegant.
Are waddling up Kangaroo Hill, but their visit is too brief. Soon they fly into the air, I watch in disbelief. Soon they fly into the air, I watch in disbelief. Soon they fly into the air, I watch in disbelief.
Now the last section we have down here is drums. Now I didn't want to add a powerful drum kit into this mix. I wanted something soft, lightly. It's a kids program. You don't want smashing drums. So we have a very simple pattern going on. We have a closed hi-hat sound. We have a ride hit. We have a kick. So with velocity changes, you can change the hardness of the kick. So with that, I have the first ones. Let's mark the first 4 in around 70%. Is that saying 70% velocity? And then the off kicks or ghost notes is around 60. So it's like roughly 10% of a difference. And give a more, realistic human feel. Press Alt 0 and brings up your FLO tool where you can change the volumes all in one go. You can change the shape. At the moment I'm using a wave. I have a pattern as you can see there. So I have this one quite low. It goes high to low. And then same for the hi-hats. So a nice gentle wave, almost like a sine wave. It's nice. Now, why have I decided to pick that style of drum loop, we'll say? Well, in the song itself, it already has a tambourine, and it has other little things. So here, you can hear the tambourine here.
Eating grass and resting on the side of Kangaroo.
Alright, and we put the drums on.
Eating grass and resting on the side of Kangaroo. Eating grass and resting on the side of Kangaroo.
So you can actually hear the punchiness of the kick, not just the top end of the kick. And different parts of the song, you can hear the ride coming through more.
Fly into the air on Kangaroo Hill.
Now, this section up here, I'm currently experimenting on. It's with most of my music, I live record lead guitars for most things. Now, this one is not shredding. This one is not what I had in mind, but it does seem to work.
And I'll be back with all my friends on Kangaroo.
Now, it's not a finished piece in any respect. It's a demo recording, so it just kind of gives me an idea of what I could do with it.
And I'll be back with all my friends on Kangaroo. And I'll be back with all my friends on Kangaroo. And I'll be back.
Now you can hear that guitar is not recorded clean. It's actually recorded quite wetly. And what I'm using, if it'll actually open up for me, is Guitar Rig 5. And you can see my fast comp. I have an input on about 20, high attack, and a makeup of roughly about 13 dB. My hot solo is actually on default. My cabinets, an Air 121 mic. Reverb and kind of the sounds are actually coming through this plugin here. And then fast comp in the bottom, with a similar makeup as the top one. It kind of gives, let me see if I can solo it. So it gives you that like a ton of reverb, but the reverb is behind the signal, so you can hear a clean signal in the beginning, then kind of an ambient spacey background to the sound. you know, I like that a lot. So I'm gonna be experimenting with that, putting maybe more leads. I might record more bass guitars. I might actually swap that bass out that's on the track for a live recording of a bass, which I can do. The bass itself. Now let's have a quick look at plugins. Okay, so for plugins, my bass, I use my expand. So let's have a look through here. So I'm using a preset. So I'm using patch 1 full pluck bass. So that's it without the effects. You can hear the slides, you can hear the frets being moved. From that, the cello or strings. I'm using the big strings section. Now, they actually do have a cello on its own, which can sound nice, but now let me disable. From that, we have the, what was it, the choir? The choir. Okay, let's have a look at its plugin. I'm using Spitfire Audio. I almost forgot its name. I'm using Spitfire Audio, and this is called Labs, which is a plugin. And you can, you know, download all their different kits. The kits I'm using is drums, vocals, and strings is what I have. And the vocals is a choir. You can see it's only to a certain scale, somewhat decent. Drums wise, drums. Let's have a look at drums. Guess what? Drums is also free. This free plugin is drums. Drums patch for the Spitfire Audio. Now you're probably thinking, that sounds great, but turn off your mixing. Okay, I'll turn off the mixing. It still sounds great. Actually, for mixing for this, all I have is an EQ, which is a boost for lows and highs, and a limiter. Going to put these two on here. So you can see my kicks and cymbals being punched. I also then have the bass going into the strings because they both share the same frequency range. But only with certain frequencies. Now for that note, and that note. Now I could take it down lower and include the G note, but I didn't need to. Now, without that on, it's, you know, not as clean as it could be. So that's my sidechaining, you know, so far in this little project.
The sun is setting behind Kangaroo Hill. It's a peaceful time of day. Soon they'll be asleep, and I must do the same. Tomorrow is another day.
And you know, that's what I have to show so far. I hope you enjoyed this project, and give me a thumbs up and a like to the page. Thanks very much.